Usually when we talk about a luxury vacation, there's this underlying expectation of absolute control.
Right, totally.
Like, think about walking into a high-end beach resort.
Yeah.
The lobby music is perfectly calibrated. The ambient temperature is set to a crisp 72 degrees. And, the lighting is designed to make everyone look good.
Oh, yeah, and the concierge simply points the way to your pre-warmed cabana.
Exactly.
It's a curated, managed environment. I mean, we often want our leisure time to be predictable, mostly just to insulate ourselves from any kind of friction or discomfort.
But then you look at the source material we have today, and you step into the world of the Highlands Cashiers Plateau.
Right.
Up in the mountains of western North Carolina.
Yeah.
And suddenly, that climate-controlled thermostat is just completely shattered.
Oh, it really is.
We're looking at a landscape that is wild, rugged, and constantly pouring rain. Yet it sits there as one of the most exclusive, sought-after retreats in the entire country.
It represents this really fascinating geographical and cultural paradox. You have the raw, untamed power of nature violently crashing straight into ultra-refined luxury.
Well, welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking you up the mountain to a high-elevation sanctuary. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
We have a massive stack of source material to guide us today. We've got local discovery guides showing the architectural nuances of these mountain homes.
Beautiful homes, by the way.
Unbelievable, right? And we have gritty, on-the-ground hiking logs from people scrambling down dirt trails, plus some very candid insider perspectives detailing the culture inside the region's elite mountain clubs.
Which is a whole different world.
Totally. So if you're someone who craves an escape from the daily grind and wants to understand the underlying mechanics of this specific mountain refuge, you are absolutely in the right place.
For sure. But, to really understand this place, we first have to look at the people coming here.
Right.
The discovery guides refer to specific feeder markets, which is just a sterile way of asking who is making this trek and what are they running from.
They are running from the heat. I mean, that is the overarching theme in all these documents. You have visitors pouring in from across the southeast.
Yeah.
There's a massive contingent driving roughly 2.5 hours up the highway from Atlanta and, various other Georgia cities.
And then you have the longer haul visitors, too.
Like from where?
Well, people coming from Dallas or Floridians taking short flights into Asheville Regional or the Atlanta airport.
Oh, right. And then they rent a car.
Exactly. Renting a car and winding their way up these steep, twisting mountain roads.
It's basically like stepping into a giant, naturally climate-controlled sanctuary when the rest of the southern U.S. feels like an absolute oven.
That's exactly what they're seeking, a dramatic environmental contrast. I mean, they trade the sweltering, oppressive humidity of a southern summer for dense forested landscapes and a profoundly different atmospheric experience.
Right.
But the reason this specific plateau offers that relief isn't just about being a little higher up. It comes down to a remarkable atmospheric engine.
Okay, I was actually going to ask about this because the guides keep referring to the area as a temperate rainforest.
Yes.
And whenever I hear rainforest, I picture like the Amazon or maybe the Pacific Northwest. How does a pocket of western North Carolina classify as a rainforest?
It's all about a process called orographic lift.
Orographic lift.
Yeah. Think of the geography. The Highlands Cashiers Plateau sits right on the southern edge of the Appalachian mountain range.
Okay.
So it acts almost like a massive granite wall facing south. Throughout the summer, you have these massive systems of warm, moisture-laden air floating up from the Gulf of Mexico.
Like a giant invisible sponge moving north.
Precisely. And when that warm, wet air hits the southern wall of the Blue Ridge Escarpment, it has nowhere to go but up.
Ah, so it gets pushed over the mountains.
Right. It gets forced up the face of the mountains, and the air cools rapidly. Cold air cannot hold as much moisture as warm air, so
That just dumps it all.
Exactly. It essentially wrings the sponge out right over the plateau. Because of this atmospheric collision, the area receives upwards of 100 inches of rain in certain years.
100 inches of rain. That is a staggering volume of water.
It really is.
And reading through these hiking logs, it becomes clear that this rainfall isn't just like a weather statistic. It's the primary architect of the region.
Oh, absolutely.
Because all that water has to go somewhere, and it carves out the landscape, creating these explosive, rushing waterfalls and lush, steep gorges.
The water is the kinetic energy of the plateau.
Yeah.
I mean, it shapes the topography and dictates exactly what visitors do when they want to experience the wilderness.
Yeah, and the on-the-ground accounts paint a really vivid picture of this. Like, Highway 64 acts as this main artery winding through the Colassaja River Gorge.
Right.
And it's just lined with phenomenal sights. Take Colassaja Falls, for instance.
Oh, that's a great example.
The logs describe pulling your car off the highway into this tiny blink-and-you-miss-it dirt pull-off. And immediately, you're looking at an enormous 100-foot drop of rushing water.
But you don't just stand by the car and look at it, right?
No. There's a steep, thrilling scramble down slick rocks to get to the bottom so you can look up at this roaring wall of water.
It's a very visceral experience. You feel the mist on your face, the roar of the water vibrating in your chest.
Yeah.
And then you have geological anomalies like dry falls. This one is famous because you can safely walk along a carved-out path directly behind the cascading water.
Wait, how does that even form? Why is there a convenient walkway behind a massive waterfall?
Well, it's a quirk of erosion. The river flows over a shelf of very hard, resistant rock, but the rock underneath that shelf is much softer.
Oh, I see.
So over thousands of years, the water churning at the base eroded the softer rock backward, creating a deep alcove. The hard rock on top stayed intact, acting like a roof. So you can literally walk into that alcove and watch the river pour down like a curtain in front of you, staying mostly dry in the process.
That is fascinating. But, it also leads me to a point of confusion.
Oh!
Yeah, I need to push back on something we established earlier.
Okay, go for it.
We started out talking about a quiet, slower pace of life and escaping the daily grind, right?
Right.
But now we're talking about 100-foot rushing drops, scrambling down slick rocks feet from a highway, and staring over the edge of massive cliffs like Glen Falls, which has that terrifying 3-stage drop.
Yeah, it does.
So is this actually a relaxing escape, or is it just like a hidden adrenaline junkie's paradise?
You know, that's a very fair challenge. What's fascinating here is the duality of the region.
The duality.
Yes, it provides intense raw power right alongside profound tranquility. It caters to whatever psychological state you're in on a given day.
Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, yes, you can get your heart pounding on slippery rocks.
Yeah.
But you also have places like Sunset Rock.
Right, the logs mentioned that one. It's just a 0.6-mile hike right out of downtown Highlands off Main Street.
Exactly.
You can grab a coffee, walk a short path, and suddenly you're sitting on a stone slab looking over the entire town.
The effort-to-reward ratio is fantastic. Or look at the hikers who found the shortcut to Yellow Mountain.
Oh yeah, the fire tower.
Right. Instead of taking the grueling 12-mile route to reach the historic fire tower, locals know to drive to the end of a road called Cloudcatcher Lane.
Which is an amazing name for a road, by the way.
Isn't it? And from there, it's only a 3-mile round trip to get panoramic views stretching all the way to the Nantahala National Forest and the Smoky Mountains. So the landscape really lets you dial the intensity up or down.
And what blew my mind reading through the sources is that how you experience all of this is entirely dictated by the calendar.
Oh, heavily dictated.
Like, the activities aren't static at all. The rhythm of the seasons forces the town to shape-shift completely.
The seasonal shift is the heartbeat of the community. Think about the summer months. The entire objective is escaping the heat. The focus is on hiking under the dense green forest canopy, cooling off by the spray of the waterfalls, and eating outdoors.
Yeah, the town pulses with energy. There's Saturday music in the park. And because of that elevation, the evenings drop into the 50s or 60s.
Which means people are legitimately gathering around outdoor fireplaces in the middle of July.
Which is absolutely unthinkable if you're visiting from Dallas.
Totally.
And then autumn arrives, and the function of the environment changes entirely. It transitions from a physical escape from the heat to a visual feast.
As the nights get crisp, the chlorophyll in the leaves breaks down, and that green temperate rainforest turns into an explosion of reds, oranges, and yellows.
Yeah. The tourist activity pivots to scenic drives, leaf-peeping harvest festivals. It's all about soaking in the visual transformation.
Then winter rolls in, and the logs describe a complete mood shift.
Yeah.
The leaves drop, the dense canopy opens up, and the landscape goes completely dormant. The energy turns inward.
It becomes about cozy holiday traditions, right? Maybe
Yeah.
some ice skating or nearby snow tubing. Mostly, it becomes this highly quiet, restorative atmosphere.
And that cyclical rotation prevents vacation fatigue. I mean, you could visit 4 times a year and have 4 completely distinct experiences.
Yeah.
It forces a mental reset. But, you know, There is a secondary world on this plateau that contrasts sharply with the wild outdoors.
Oh, definitely.
Right.
Because when visitors aren't braving the elements or marveling at the seasons, they are retreating to the region's private club communities.
Yes, they are.
And here's where it gets really interesting, because you have this untamed, wet, rugged wilderness, perfectly balanced by hypersocial, heavily curated indoor and club living.
It's quite the contrast.
One of the sources explicitly calls it adult summer camp.
Which is pretty accurate. The plateau is renowned for these exclusive communities. Places like Mountaintop Golf and Lake Club, Kalasaja Club, Wade Hampton, and Highlands Falls Country Club.
The accounts from Highlands Falls are fantastic. The vibe is described as aggressively cheerful.
Aggressively cheerful is a great way to put it.
Right. The sources say strangers will literally walk up to you at the bar, introduce themselves, and insist you sit with them.
Yeah, and the sheer volume of scheduled activities is staggering.
It's endless. Daily pickleball tournaments, massive fitness centers, bridge clubs, poker nights, ladies' golf leagues.
And we can't forget the croquet.
My absolute favorite detail, the intense croquet culture.
The croquet is a major fixture.
They require the traditional all-white outfits. They take the rules very seriously. And within 5 minutes on the pristine grass, husbands and wives are ruthlessly trash-talking each other.
It gets surprisingly competitive.
Oh, and I cannot forget the Topless Touring Club.
Yes.
Which is an actual organized club, exclusively for people who own convertible cars to drive around the mountain roads together in a pack.
I mean, it sounds whimsical, but there is a profound psychological mechanism at play here.
Really? How so?
When people buy second homes in rural, mountainous areas, they often buy large, wooded lots for privacy. The unintended consequence of that is severe isolation.
Oh, I see.
You're geographically separated from your primary social network, just tucked away in the woods.
So the serenity quickly turns into loneliness.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
These clubs exist to actively combat that rural isolation. They force proximity.
Right.
They manufacture serendipity through structured play. By organizing endless rounds of croquet and poker, they create instant, deep bonds among transplants. It provides a hyper-concentrated social network so you don't feel lost in the woods.
So you move to the wilderness to get away from people, and then immediately join a club to guarantee you're surrounded by 50 new friends.
Pretty much.
It makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
But building that perfect adult camp environment, especially the world-class golf, in a rugged rainforest that gets 100 inches of rain a year, that takes some borderline insane engineering.
It is a monumental feat of agronomy. I mean, you are taking a wild, constantly wet environment and forcing absolute precision upon it.
Let's talk about Wade Hampton Golf Club as the prime example. Founded in 1986, designed by Tom Fazio, and currently ranked number 26 in the country.
An incredible course.
And when asked what their biggest challenge is, the management doesn't say the elevation or the rocky terrain. They say it's managing the water.
Well, when 100 inches of rain falls on a golf course, if you don't have perfect drainage, you don't have a golf course.
Right.
You have a swamp.
So how do they keep the grass alive? Reading the technical specs, it feels like they built a 100-acre Brita filter.
That is a great analogy. To survive the deluge, they use highly specialized materials. On the tee boxes, they use a specific sand-peat-moss mix beneath the turf.
Okay, why sand?
The sand allows the massive volume of rainwater to drain instantly, while the peat moss holds just enough moisture and nutrients to keep the crystal blue lynx seed alive.
Wow. And the greens are even more extreme.
Oh, definitely.
In 2017, they seeded the greens with a specific strain called Pure Distinction bent grass because of its incredible density and wear tolerance.
Right.
And they mow these greens 3 to 4 times a week down to a microscopic height of 0.250 to 0.310 inches.
Yep.
I cannot fathom trying to keep a living plant thriving when you cut it to 1/4 of an inch while the sky just drops a waterfall on it.
It's wild. The greatest danger to grass cut that short in a wet environment is thatch.
Thatch, like a thatched roof.
Sort of. Thatch is a layer of dead, decaying organic matter that builds up between the soil and the green vegetation.
Oh, okay.
If it gets too thick in a rainforest environment, it acts like a wet sponge. It suffocates the roots and breeds disease.
So how do they fight the sponge?
Relentless top dressing.
Top dressing.
Yeah, the tough managers are constantly sprinkling fine layers of sand directly into the grass canopy.
Oh, I've seen them do that on courses.
Exactly. The sand dilutes the organic matter, keeps the surface firm, and ensures the water keeps moving downward instead of pooling at the surface. It is a daily, microscopic battle against the rainforest.
It's an absolute obsession with controlling the environment. They're like mad scientists out there.
Basically, yes.
And reading through the real estate discovery guides, especially from advisors like the Henry Hall Collective, you see that desire for control extends directly to the homes themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
The architecture is explicitly designed to safely interact with this wild environment.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the homes function as luxurious observation decks. You see a heavy reliance on natural materials, stone and timber, so the structures visually blend into the forest.
Right.
But the defining features are the expansive porches and massive windows.
It's the pinnacle of blended indoor-outdoor living.
Right.
I mean, the architecture is engineered so you can sit on a heated, covered porch, holding a glass of wine, and watch a torrential rainforest downpour happen 3 feet away from you.
Without feeling a single drop.
Exactly.
You're visually participating in the chaos of the mountains, but physically you remain completely insulated, dry, and comfortable.
So bringing this all together, our deep dive into the Highlands Cashiers Plateau reveals a place that masterfully balances two completely opposing forces.
It really does.
On one side, you have the raw, rushing physics of a temperate rainforest. You have orographic lift, dumping 100 inches of rain, carving out 100-foot waterfalls, and demanding steep, muddy hikes.
And on the other side, you have the meticulously engineered comfort of these luxury communities. You have turf scientists fighting thatch to maintain quarter-inch greens.
Right.
You have structured croquet matches combating social isolation, and architecture designed to hold the wilderness at a very comfortable distance.
And for you listening, this matters because we all live in a world defined by digital noise, urban heat, and constant demands on our attention.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
Finding a physical space that forces a mental reset is rare. The plateau offers that reset, whether you find it by standing at the bottom of a roaring gorge getting blasted by cold mist, or by retreating into the structured, welcoming arms of an adult summer camp.
It certainly provides a refuge. But exploring all this source material leaves us with a lingering question about the nature of our escapes.
Ooh, what's that?
We put immense effort, engineering, and wealth into building these flawless, frictionless mountain bubbles. We manage the drainage of the grass, we curate our social circles, and we build heated porches to watch the storm safely.
We basically remove all the uncomfortable variables.
Exactly. So the question becomes, if our ultimate escape involves retreating into a perfectly engineered environment where every social interaction and physical comfort is guaranteed, what happens when we leave the mountain? By spending our leisure time in a space designed to protect us from every minor inconvenience, do we actually return to our normal lives refreshed? Or do we just make ourselves less capable and less tolerant of handling the messy, uncurated friction of the real world we were trying to run from in the first place?
Wow, that is a phenomenal question to ponder. We build the perfect sanctuary, but maybe we accidentally engineer away our own resilience.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the source material. We hope this gave you a new perspective on what it means to truly escape. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and we'll catch you next time.